So Firaxis has just announced their newest game, Sid Meier's Starships. And, unsurprisingly, there are a lot of people that are having very mixed feelings towards this game. And a lot of that has to do with the way Beyond Earth was released. I understand this, and it makes me sad. But there are a lot of things that are working against Starships. First thing I'd like to get out of the way is I really don't think that Firaxis is just going to give up on Beyond Earth. I think there's a big majority of people that think that, oh, now that Firaxis has announced this new game, Starships, that they're going to just, throw Beyond Earth away in the can. It's going to be gone forever. I think that they still will release at least one expansion. I mean, Firaxis has a pretty big team. They've got, I think, over 100 developers there. And you have to think that they were juggling between patches and expansions for Civ 5 as well as for XCOM for like the last 3 years. So, and then, at the when Brave New World was released, and then the expansion for XCOM was released at the same time, that whole development team didn't have anything to do. And of course, some of them were working on Beyond Earth, but I knew in the back of my mind that there's got to be a few of those developers that are working on something else, and this must have been what they're working on. And I know a lot of people are kind of upset the fact that, and they're kind of weary about this whole release because the game was announced so fast, and it's going to be released so fast. I think within the next few months, they're going to release this brand new game. And people are kind of skeptical of that, especially because most games typically have a few months to maybe even a year before the game gets released after the announcement. So people are kind of weary about that. You know what? I think that, I don't know for sure, but I think I have a feeling that Firaxis had been working on this game for quite a long time as well. They had to have split their development team, because what were all the people that were working on XCOM before doing then? I doubt that they merged their team just to focus one entire group of people on Beyond Earth. I figured that there had to have been a secondary group working on something else, and this is probably it. I think that it's sad that Beyond Earth has gotten over time, people have just really gotten pretty angry at Beyond Earth, and just they're kind of just writing off the fact that Beyond Earth was a better game than Civ 5 Vanilla. It was. It's not better than Gods and Kings Civ 5 or obviously Brave New World Civ 5, but vanilla-wise, Beyond Earth was a lot better. And if you just remove the hype from that game, if you just remove like all the hype, and unfortunately, I will admit I was a part of that hype. I was definitely part of that hype. I was super excited for that game. But if you remove all that hype, and if Firaxis just released it, obviously they can't do this for business reasons, but if they just were to release that game, people would have been, pleasantly surprised. I mean, very, very happy with it. It had been a nice little game for them. It would have been a perfect, exactly like a little space where you wouldn't get all these negative comments from it's just like a super modded version of Civ 5, and you wouldn't get so much negativity about the game, because Beyond Earth isn't that bad of a game, and you really, if you look into it, there are a lot of modders that have made the game much more playable now. The game is quite fun with a few mods here and there, and it really kind of fixes a lot of the problems that the game has itself. So I don't know. Starships, I don't think we can really make any sort of judgment on it. A big thing is that a lot of people are weary because it's released. It's going to be released for Windows, Mac, and iOS. And people are like, iOS? That's strange. But you know what? If you look into Firaxis, and I've known this for a while, Firaxis has been trying to do iOS games for a very long time. They released like 3 iOS games in 2013. Like they've been kind of doing this thing, kind of branching out into that market of that whole gaming platform and stuff like that. So it wasn't a surprise to me, and let's not forget that XCOM is for iOS. It's like $12, but it's for iOS. Honestly, I think that the game could be just, there will be the main game for PC and for Macs, and then there'll be kind of a slimmed down, a more skinny, less full version for iOS. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And I know a lot of people are thinking that this game's gonna be really dumb. It's gonna pretty much be a phone game for your computer. I don't think so. I can't believe that. I don't think that that's the way to go. And the final thing that I want to talk about, I mean, it apparently it's supposed to have some sort of connectivity to Beyond Earth. And it's still kind of staying within the same universe. And I think this is the only issue that Firaxis kind of has right now, and I think it's because, well, they're focusing a little bit too much on space. I think that's a great setting for games and for just really any sort of media nowadays. But you have to remember that Firaxis' main audience is the Civilization series, and that means, I mean, a lot of us are history buffs, and a lot of us aren't into this whole sci-fi sort of thing. I personally am, but it's got to be within the right realm. And unfortunately, Beyond Earth kind of isn't there for me. I think that's too far in the future where it's kind of, I can't even imagine that. I mean, interstellar travel is kind of too far out there for me, but it's just, I don't know if this is the right direction for Firaxis to be continuing to do a second game in space, just because a lot of us, we love history. That's what's so great about Civilization and kind of, you know, altering history and stuff like that. I think a reason was that I think Firaxis really thought that Beyond Earth was going to be good. I think that during the development and during the playtesting and while they were getting, you know, just a few people kind of giving feedback about the game, I know that they realized that this was a lot better of a game than Civ 5. They had to have. Civ 5 vanilla was bad, and I know that they realized that Beyond Earth is a lot better game by itself without any expansions than Civ 5. That's why I think that they began development of Starships. I think for a long time they thought that Beyond Earth was going to be a really big game, and I think they were pretty surprised that it wasn't. And right now, I mean, what are they going to do? They've been probably working on, I mean, my theory is they've been working on Starships for a very long time, and they can't just drop the ball. They can't just stop this game. They're going to have to release it, and they're probably just like, I think they knew that they were going to get some backlash from the community, and they're like, what are they going to do? I mean, they can't have wasted all the time developing this game. So let's just hope that they start to kind of go back into the history mode eventually. And, you know, my final thoughts is that Firaxis has always been that developer that turns either a bad game or a mediocre game into a good one. So I think that that's something to keep in mind, and I still think that they're going to release an expansion for Beyond Earth. Just because this new game is announced doesn't, I don't think, really mean anything. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to leave my thoughts with you guys. I know this is kind of a rambling video, but I know that there were a few people that were asking me what I thought about the new announcement from Firaxis. And please, I mean, leave me a comment in the section below telling me what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys, of course, next time.